Long, long ago, a tiger, which was a mystical creature of Inwang mountain in Seoul, asked a wise spirit,
"It's getting dark. What should I eat today?"
How about the dark-haired animals, humans?
Answered the spirit.
Humans are always lying to each other, and sometimes kill thousands of their own kind. They are too poisonous to eat.
But there is one kind of human that is good. His body is filled with loyalty and devotion, and he is aware of the logic of all things. He is well studied, but stays away from riches and fame. He loves the humble life and green nature. There is nothing more beautiful to eat.
As soon as the spirit finished speaking, the tiger asked,
"Just who is this?"
The spirit answered,
They are humans called Seonbi.
Where do they live?
Many of them live on Namsan Mountain.
The tiger headed to Namsan Mountain, guided by the spirit. A roof that barely provides cover, walls that cannot shield the wind. In this house that is ready to collapse, a wife continues to sew, and her husband, a Seonbi, reads his books.
Living in a house like that would be like living in the woods. Besides, he's too gone to eat.
The two of them have been starving for 4 days now.
For a starved man, he's sitting up quite straight, and his face looks peaceful.
I told you they were a mysterious kind.
During the Chosun period, there were only 2 requirements for success: to be an aristocrat and to be well-read. This Seonbi met all the requirements but did not become a bureaucrat.
You mean he doesn't raise crops or sell anything for a living?
He is unwilling to touch money with his hands or ask about the price of rice, let alone make money.
That sounds pathetically lazy,
Said the tiger, clicking his tongue.
No, actually. Seonbis wake up at Ogyong every morning, so they're not really lazy.
They don't farm or do business. Why do they wake up so early?
Ogyong refers to 3 to 5 o'clock in the morning. Seonbis would wake up before the sun comes up and start their day kneeled and memorizing 12th century Chinese classics. They spend most of their days reading or writing, looking out at the woods and mountains, contemplating the true reason behind nature and the universe.
What good is all of their knowledge if they can't even take care of their own poverty?
Said the tiger sarcastically.
They call it anbinakdo.
A life that cherishes only studying and not being shameful of poverty. It may seem impractical, but the studies of the Seonbi, free from personal interest, would result in the most practical results. A Seonbi who was expelled by the king to an island created an illustrated guide of fish of the Korean peninsula. Another personally designed a Sewon, a regional educational facility. And another invented a crane that helped build a fortress that was designated as a World Heritage by UNESCO.
Great One, it seems like that Seonbi is going out.
The tiger and the spirit followed along the extremely slow steps of the Seonbi. In weathered clothes, the Seonbi heads out of his house. He has a very distinctive walking style, dragging his heels with the head of his foot pointed outwards. A Seonbi never runs, even if he is chased by a wild dog, and even if it rains. The place where he arrives is a reception room of his friend's house. Over 20 poor Seonbis, similar to him, are already gathered, and the room quickly becomes noisy.
All that humans do is fight and argue.
They are not fighting. Listen.
At the end of the 19th century, Chosun was struck by a massive wave of modernization. Japan and Western countries demanded that Chosun leave behind its 500 years of tradition, and this had swayed the king of Chosun.
금상이 중심을 잃었어요. 오랑캐 협박에 굴복해 나라의 근간이 흔들릴 지경입니다. 우리 유생들이 나라를 구합시다. 상서를 작성하여 궁궐로 갑시다.
They're headed to the palace, so they must have gotten a government position,
Said the tiger.
Not at all. They are going to reprimand the king.
The tiger was astounded by this reply. In front of Gyeongbokgung Palace, the countless tails of white gentlemen's robes looked like the descent of hundreds of cranes. They all kneeled towards the king, wailing or venting their frustration. The king already has their logical and detailed appeals in his hands.
Jobless poor men reprimanding the king. I bet they'll all go to jail or be executed.
Actually, no. No Seonbi is ever sent to jail for reprimanding the king.
Seonbis were teachers who would preach everyone from commoners to the king. They were poor and without power, but Chosun society looked up to and listened to the souls of Seonbis who were free from greed. Seonbis weren't just about their words. They would shed blood for the king, their nation, and the dignity of their country, and the duty of mankind. For 500 years, in their impoverished homes instead of the palace, on the streets instead of a powerful seat, Seonbis led Chosun without any personal profit or glory. The noble spirits of Chosun, who loved pure poverty and truth, and did not fear the king, war, or even death for their country, are now in the pages of history, along with their beloved dynasty. Seoul, a metro city with a population of over 10 million. No longer is the tiger or spirit on Inwang Mountain, and Namsan Mountain is no longer a village for poor Seonbis. However, Koreans who identify with the nobleness of tigers also hold on to the spirit of Seonbis, a country which loves honest poverty and the scholarly way of life, a country which loved its silent heroes who overcame fear for the good of all. Korea is very much still a country of Seonbis.